What if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, a handful of individuals uncovered the complete framework for lasting peace, unwavering self-mastery, and an existence free from the weight of regret? And what if the very reason you feel restless, burdened, or directionless right now is because nobody ever shared what they unearthed? Today, that changes. Welcome to the path of the Stoics. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to guide you through 12 foundational principles that, if you begin applying them from this moment forward, will fundamentally reshape how you perceive, react to, and navigate your life. Make sure you stay through to the final principle. It's the one that rarely gets discussed, yet it holds the potential to be the most transformative of them all. The Stoic origin. Imagine this: a man who rises before the sun touches the horizon, sits in quiet contemplation, and mentally prepares himself, not for a day of ease, but for the challenges that await. He knows that before nightfall, something will test him. Someone will let him down. Something he treasures might slip away. His carefully laid plans may unravel. And he is entirely at peace with all of it. That man was Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful ruler of his era. He led armies, administered an empire, and endured relentless warfare, disease, and treachery. Yet every morning, he turned to his private reflections, not about conquest or riches, but about how to become a better person. His philosophy, Stoicism. Born in Athens around 300 BCE from the teachings of Zeno of Citium, a merchant who lost everything, Stoicism spread across the ancient world, shaping the minds of emperors, warriors, and the enslaved alike. But here's what makes it truly remarkable. It wasn't abstract theory meant for dusty libraries. It was practical, actionable, a survival guide for the human spirit. The Stoics held that while you cannot dictate what life throws at you, you possess absolute authority over your response. And within that response, that single, conscious choice, your entire existence is determined. Principle 1. The Master Divide. Make the most of what lies within your reach, and accept everything else as it unfolds. This is the cornerstone of Stoic thought. Once you internalize it, truly feel it in your core, your anxiety will diminish by half overnight. The Stoics categorized all human experience into two domains: what you can influence, and what you cannot. What falls under your influence? Your thoughts, your interpretations, your intentions, your effort, your integrity. What remains outside? Everything else, others' opinions, the weather, economic shifts, whether you land that promotion, if your train runs late, whether people approve of you. Now, here's where most people stumble. They pour their emotional energy into trying to bend things that will never yield. They lose sleep worrying about what someone thinks of them. They spiral into dread about a future that hasn't arrived. They replay past wounds as if they could somehow rewrite them. The Stoic remedy: release it. Not because it's unimportant, but because your suffering over it achieves nothing, while your focus on what you can influence changes everything. Epictetus, born into slavery, yet regarded as one of the freest individuals to ever live, taught this from the most unforgiving circumstances. He had no authority over his conditions, yet he discovered that the only real prison is the one constructed by the mind. Today's practice: write down 3 current worries. For each, ask, can I genuinely affect this? If not, practice letting it drift past like a passing cloud. If yes, take one concrete step right now. Principle 2. Embrace your path. Don't demand that everything unfold according to your wishes. Instead, wish for everything to unfold exactly as it does, and your life will find its flow. This principle moves beyond mere acceptance. It asks you not just to tolerate what comes, but to welcome it. This is amor fati, the love of fate. Perhaps the most liberating concept in Stoic philosophy. Think about the most difficult chapter of your life. A heartbreak, a failure, a betrayal, an illness, the end of something you thought would last forever. Whatever it was, it broke something in you, didn't it? But now consider, what did it forge? What did it compel you to uncover about yourself? What hidden strength did it draw out of you? The Stoics weren't naive. They understood that pain hurts. But they also recognized that resistance to pain multiplies it. Every moment you spend wishing reality were different, you're adding suffering onto suffering. But when you face every obstacle, every setback, every wound, and say, "This is precisely what needed to happen, and I will use it," something shifts. You stop being a victim of your life and become its author. Principle 3, the memento. Remember your mortality. Prepare your mind as if you've reached life's final chapter. Postpone nothing. Settle your accounts each day. In ancient Rome, during a general's victory parade, a slave would ride beside him in the chariot. As crowds cheered and flowers fell, this attendant would whisper repeatedly, "Memento mori." Remember you will die, not to darken the celebration, but to keep the general humble. To remind him that glory fades, that arrogance destroys, that this moment is precious precisely because it ends. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us act as if we have endless time. We delay the honest conversation. We defer the dream. We promise ourselves someday for what matters, while handing our present to what doesn't. Memento mori shatters that illusion. It declares, you are going to die. Maybe not today, but the clock is running. And the question isn't how much time remains. The question is whether you're truly living the time you have right now. The Stoics didn't let death paralyze them. They let it clarify them. It burned away the trivial and revealed what genuinely counts. Principle 4, the now. Anchor yourself in the present. The past is finished. The future hasn't arrived. This moment, only this, is yours. Marcus Aurelius wrote those words in his private journal, never expecting anyone to read them. He wasn't performing philosophy, he was practicing it. Modern research confirms what the Stoics knew instinctively. The human mind spends nearly half its waking hours drifting from the present. And during those drifting moments, people consistently report lower satisfaction, higher stress, and diminished meaning. The Stoic didn't require a study. They could sense it. They understood that obsessing over yesterday's mistakes isn't learning, it's self-punishment. And dreading tomorrow steals today without offering anything in return. The present is where power resides. It's where decisions are made, actions are taken, relationships are nurtured. Your entire existence happens here, and yet most people spend most of their time anywhere but here. Start small. For the next hour, whenever your mind wanders to worry or regret, gently guide it back, not with frustration, but with curiosity, like guiding a river back to its course. Principle 5, foresight. Prepare for difficulties before they arrive. The one who anticipates the storm robs it of its terror. This practice sounds counterintuitive, even unsettling, but done correctly, it might be the most powerful tool for daily contentment that exists. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. In simple terms, regularly imagining negative outcomes before they occur. But understand the difference. Anxiety imagines trouble and spirals into helplessness. Negative visualization imagines trouble, prepares a measured response, and returns to the present with profound gratitude for what remains. Think of something you treasure. Your health, your family, your home, your freedom. Now, gently, not obsessively, imagine life without it. Picture waking up tomorrow and finding it gone. Feel that ache. That's gratitude, raw and unfiltered, for what you have right now, what you walk past every day without noticing. The Stoics used this practice to ensure that nothing they valued ever became invisible to them. And when loss inevitably came, as it always does, they weren't blindsided. They had already made peace with impermanence. Principle 6, true wealth. Virtue is the only genuine good. Nothing external can substitute for it. This is one of the most challenging Stoic concepts for modern minds because we live in a culture that insists otherwise every single day. Success equals good. Money equals good. Status, recognition, attraction, influence, these are presented as the ultimate goals. Acquire them, and you'll find happiness. The Stoics had another term for these things, preferred indifferences. Meaning yes, it's better to be healthy than ill. Yes, it's better to have resources than to struggle. But none of these, not one, is the actual foundation of a fulfilled life. You've witnessed it yourself, haven't you? People who possess everything the world values, wealth, fame, beauty, and yet they're profoundly unhappy. And you've probably also encountered someone who, by external measures, had almost nothing, yet carried a quiet dignity, a grounded warmth, a magnetic presence. The Stoics would say that person possessed virtue. And in their system, virtue is the only thing that can never be taken from you. It doesn't depend on markets or luck or others' approval. The 4 Stoic virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, self-discipline, cultivate these, and you have everything. Lack them, and nothing else will satisfy. Principle 7. Cosmic perspective. Master your mind, not external events. Understand this, and you'll find resilience. Marcus Aurelius returned repeatedly to a particular meditation, the view from above. When pressure mounted, when the burdens of empire felt crushing, he would mentally ascend. He'd picture himself looking down on Rome from a height, then higher still, until the entire world appeared as a faint speck in the vastness of existence. Then he'd ask, how significant is this problem in the grand sweep of time and space? Now, I'm not suggesting your concerns don't matter, they do. But most of what we agonize over, the awkward comment you made last week, the petty disagreement over something trivial, the opinion of someone who won't remember you in a decade. The view from above dissolves the noise and leaves only what's genuinely significant. Try it now. Whatever is weighing on you today, zoom out. Your neighborhood, your continent, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, a universe 93 billion light years across, 13.8 billion years old. You're alive on a small rock for a brief flicker of time. And yet, here you are. Blessed with consciousness, with the capacity to love, to create, to choose. That means something, and in that perspective, most of your worries, they diminish. Principle 8. Alignment. Human beings are social creatures. Living for oneself alone diminishes what it means to be human. The Stoics believed we have a nature, a rational, social, virtuous core. When we live according to that nature, life flows. When we contradict it, we suffer. What does this mean practically? It means using your reasoning mind, not impulses, not fear, not ego, to guide your choices. It means recognizing that you're part of a larger human community and that your actions ripple outward. It means living consistently, not preaching integrity while practicing something else behind closed doors. Reflect on the moments in your life when you felt most at peace, most authentic, most alive. I suspect they were moments when you were being honest, when you were helping someone, when you were doing meaningful work without complaint, when you were being who you truly are, not performing for an audience. Principle 9. The path through. The obstacle becomes the path. What blocks the way, becomes the way. This might be the most practically useful idea in all Stoic philosophy. It completely inverts how most people approach problems. Most view obstacles as reasons to stop. The application was rejected. The relationship ended. The venture failed. The door is closed. The Stoic mind does something different. It examines the obstacle and asks, what is this teaching me? How can I use this? What does this obstruction reveal about the way forward? Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before the light bulb worked. Churchill lost every major political contest before his finest hour. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before returning to transform it. In every case, the obstacle wasn't a detour, the obstacle was the path. The difficulty forged the person who could ultimately succeed. What's blocking you right now? Really consider it. Then ask the Stoic question, what if this isn't standing in my way? What if this is the way? Principle 10. Interconnection. We are woven together. What harms the collective harms the individual. Here's something frequently misunderstood about Stoicism. Many assume it's cold, about becoming an unfeeling stone, indifferent to others. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics believed deeply in sympathia, the mutual interdependence of all things. The idea that we aren't isolated individuals fighting against the world, but threads in an intricate web of relationship, responsibility, and shared destiny. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man alive, wrote repeatedly about his obligation to others, to his citizens, his family, to strangers. He understood that his own flourishing was inseparable from that of those around him. In a world that urges us to optimize for ourselves, to be the hero of our own story and treat everyone else as extras, the Stoic vision of interconnection is radical. It says your neighbor's suffering diminishes you. The stranger struggling across the world is not separate from you. A genuinely good life is built in community, in service, in relationship. The most fulfilled people you know, I'd wager they aren't the most isolated. They're the most connected, the most generous, the most genuinely invested in others. Principle 11. Chosen difficulty. Set aside days when you'll be content with the simplest provisions, telling yourself, is this what I feared? Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest men, regularly slept on the floor, fasted, wore coarse clothing, and walked in winter chill. Not because he had to, but because he chose to. He wanted to test whether his well-being depended on comfort, to discover if he could endure hardship with dignity. Each time he succeeded, he felt freer, not less comfortable, but less dependent on comfort. This is one of the most counterintuitive yet powerful practices a modern person can adopt. We live in the most comfortable era in human history. Temperature control, endless entertainment, food on demand, near zero friction in daily life. And we've never been more anxious, more fragile, or less capable of handling adversity. The Stoics understood that comfort, pursued without limit, becomes a cage. A person who can't function without their phone, their morning ritual, their familiar environment, that person isn't free. They're owned by their comforts. Voluntary discomfort breaks that ownership. It declares, I choose the hard thing. I choose the cold shower. I choose the difficult conversation. I choose the challenging training. Not because I enjoy suffering, but because I refuse to fear it. Start small. Tonight, skip one indulgence you'd normally reach for. Tomorrow, try 30 seconds of cold water at the end of your shower. These small acts of chosen difficulty build a muscle, and that muscle, over time, becomes unbreakable. Principle 12. The flourishing. Stop debating what a good person should be, and simply be one. We've arrived, and I saved this for last because it isn't just another technique. It isn't something you do occasionally. It's the destination all the other principles point toward. The ancient Greeks had a word, eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but that's misleading. Happiness suggests a feeling, a mood that comes and goes. Eudaimonia means something deeper. It means flourishing, the complete realization of your potential as a human being. A life well lived, not by the world's standards, but by the measure of your own best self. And here is the Stoic secret to eudaimonia, the thing that sets it apart from every other philosophy of well-being in history. It doesn't depend on what happens to you. Let that land. A flourishing life, in the Stoic view, is available to you right now, regardless of your circumstances, your bank balance, your relationships, your health, your history, or your future. Because eudaimonia isn't constructed from external conditions. It's built from internal choices. Specifically, the consistent choice to live with wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. To use your mind correctly. To treat others well. To face what comes with grace. To act always in alignment with your deepest values. Marcus Aurelius faced plague, war, betrayal, and the deaths of his children. Epictetus was born in chains. Seneca faced execution. And all three, by every account, lived with a depth of peace and purpose that most people, even with every advantage, never find. Their secret wasn't luck or talent or circumstances. It was philosophy. The daily, deliberate practice of choosing who they would be, regardless of what the world threw at them. You possess within you right now everything you need to handle whatever life can present. Not just to cope, but to thrive. To live so grounded, so purposeful, so free from petty fear and suffering, that people around you wonder what your secret is. Now you know. It's over 2,000 years old, and it works. 12 principles. Centuries of wisdom. One simple truth flowing through all of it. You are not a passive passenger in your life. You are the driver, and the wheel has always been in your hands. The Stoics never promised you a life without pain. They promised you something better, a life in which pain no longer holds power over you. A life in which you meet each day with clarity, purpose, and unshakable inner calm. That's not fantasy. That's practice. And it begins the moment you decide it does. Quick recap. Focus solely on what you control, release the rest. Embrace your fate, including its hardships. Remember your mortality, let it wake you up. Live in the present, power exists only here. Visualize loss to cultivate deep gratitude. Recognize virtue is the only lasting good. Gain perspective, zoom out from your problems. Live in alignment with your authentic nature. See obstacles as the path forward. Understand your deep connection to others. Choose discomfort before it's forced upon you. Build flourishing from the inside out. The Stoics are gone, but their words, their journals, their letters, their lessons, survived. Not because they were famous, but because they were true. And now those words are in your hands. What you do with them, that's always been up to you.